Hey
back.
everyone! Welcome back to Irwin Hours. We are not exactly at Irwin today because it was raining and, well, more like pouring, and we didn't want to walk out in the pouring rain. So we are here at the dorm today because the show must go on. And our topic today is
Nebraska volleyball.
Woo!
Yay.
And especially the very controversial, I guess, disappointing upset,
Elite Eight.
the Elite Eight. So, Audrey, why is this a big upset?
Well, I'm just going to give you the stats on it, but Nebraska had like a historic run this season. They had an undefeated conference.
Yes.
They only lost I'm like a double, but I think they only lost one set the whole season. They're insane. Insanely. I don't know another word to use besides insane. It was just
dominant.
Yes, extremely. Showing how great they were and they were the team to beat and no team could beat them. And last year they were very similar, insanely dominant, and lost in the Final Four. Or no, did they lose in the championship or Final Four last year? I can't remember. I think the national championship. No, Final Four. I think they lost in the Final Four last year, and that was so sad.
Semifinals to Penn State.
Semifinals, yeah, they lost in the Final Four last year. So that was so sad, and it just...
I think it's definitely very interesting seeing a team, especially from Nebraska's perspective, 33-0 going into the Texas A&M game,
Mm-hmm.
and especially then looking at that from last year, being so dominant in the regular season and in the Big Ten season, but then going to those championship games and then just falling short, which I think is very...
it sucks so bad, and
Yeah.
they're so deserving. But
I think that's very, I don't think it takes anything away from the team, but I think it's definitely something that necessarily, the team should look at going forward, being don't look at it as, a curse or something,
yeah,
but more as, okay, we need to make sure that we're still winning all these games, but that by the time we get to the end,
yeah,
we can still play like we have been
I
past
agree.
season.
Yes.
But, so, it was a 5-set loss to Texas A&M.
Well, this was the most gut-wrenching game ever.
So they were down. So, first 2 sets, Texas A&M have won, and then Nebraska won the next 2.
Which, being a volleyball fan, is, extremely hard to do. When you're down 2 sets, because for those who don't really know volleyball, it's the first to 3 win. So the most you can go is 5 sets, and Texas A&M winning 2 sets, the first 2 sets, means all they had to do was win 1 more, and they had 3 more chances in order to win the game, basically. So then Nebraska tying them up, it was greatest comeback ever. And ML say, but the fourth set, I think it was the 4th set, it was a really long set. You have to win by 2, and they it was a battle. It kept
getting tied.
Yeah, it was a
going
battle.
Back and forth.
And then the 5th set goes to 15, and they only lost by 2, which is how much you have to win by. So it was very impressive for Nebraska to, even being down, still have that grit and keep fighting, because they had it was a big comeback.
Yeah, I think going into that 5th set, I was a little bit more nervous for Nebraska just because of what I've seen. I feel especially just with just watching the Illinois girls play, and just watching kind of volleyball more recently, I feel a lot of times those teams that do come back in that second or that third and fourth that third and fourth set are usually, they put everything into that
to make it tied,
to make it tied. So then once they get to the 5th set, they're like, okay. And just seeing that, how they put everything into those 2 sets, I feel like I've seen a lot of teams just fall short on that fifth set. These are a lot of difficult words for me.
I agree. Oh, it was just so sad to watch. Like,
yeah, but definitely, I think it was. So, looking at them, 33-1 record. So the only loss they had was to Texas A&M.
And crazy. Like, that's like unheard of in volleyball to go an undefeated non-conference.
And
or conference season.
Yeah. And Texas A&M won the first 2 sets to become just the 3rd team that season to win 2 sets against Nebraska. So that's very impressive on both sides for Nebraska to be able to keep people behind that much, and then Texas A&M to beat them like that. And obviously 33-1, 33 match winning streak. And what was it? There's another one. Oh yeah. So that was that snapped Nebraska's 63rd match home winning streak. And it was their first loss, their first home loss since December 1st, 2022.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Since 2022, they've never lost at home. That's crazy.
So, and then
Bob.
Yeah, and then it was their first. When they lost the first set, it was the loss of a 48 consecutive sets won at home. And that streak was the 2nd longest in school history and the longest in a single season.
That's insane.
So, but
do we want to talk about players?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I also think the reason Nebraska has so much like publicity and is such a popular team is because they have such a big media. Like, they're so big in media.
Presence.
And like they all have a pretty big following and are seen as more than just volleyball players to a lot of people. So Harper Murray, of course, she's like I'm like a big volleyball fan, but their team is like known for saying, like, you can't look at their team and pick out one girl because they're all just so good at what they do. Like, there's not one thing they specialize in because they're at every point they're good. Like, even their what are they called, like the All-American recognition, there was like 4 girls from different positions from Nebraska get that, which is like no other team is getting that. So like Harper Murray, Andy Jackson. Harper Murray's a middle, or no, outside. Andy Jackson's a middle. Bergen, Riley, setter. Lainey, Choboy, libero, and they're all juniors, which is really interesting because it's like they have one more go at it.
Yeah.
To like.
They're already so used to it that they'll be.
Yeah, like I hope.
They'll be able to
and
put
they're
that
so
together
hungry
next year
for it that like I think next year like has to be their year. Also because they lost their freshman year because they're all juniors, so they lost 2 years ago in the national championship against Texas. So they lost then they lost in the Final Four, then they lost in the Elite Eight. So like next year,
revenge season.
Revenge, and they like I think they can do it. And then also just like talking about Harper, her freshman year of college, they lost, and then in the press conference right after, which I think is really hard. Like if I just lost
video,
well, like even just having to be put in a position where after losing like one of the biggest games in your life, and like up to that point probably your life, having to go and then get asked questions when you're just probably beyond angry and like sad and like dealing with so many emotions. Anyway, freshman Harper said in her press conference after that game, like really pissed off. She was like, we're gonna win 3 consecutive national championships after this. and like that got her so much hate. Like she got into like a really dark place, was super depressed, and then I actually watched her documentary. It's on Netflix, you should watch it. But looks super moving and just really inspiring about how tough of a place that was for her. And then ended up like going into her sophomore season, she got a DUI and like shoplifted and like arrested, and it was like this whole thing, and just like how much of a downward spiral she went with it, and just how much hate she got from the media having also that presence. And then this year she lost, and I think it was a really big, like, all eyes were on her to see how she handled that press conference, seeing how she handled her one freshman year. And it was just like, did you see it? It was like
I did.
A 360. Yes. Like, she was so mature, so like lifting up her teammates, and just like kept it very like very, you would not expect she just lost that game. Like, I was watching that.
I would recommend like going and watching it. Like, anyone watching this video, like going and watching it, just because like also the way like it really like tugs at your heartstrings too. Like watching like Rebecca Alec, like getting so emotional over after like finishing her senior season and just missing out on all of the like Final Four and the championship and all of that, and then just the way like Harper Murray kind of takes over for her and just conducts herself in the interview, I think is definitely
and you can just see with all of them how like, I know the 4 juniors the best just because that's who I've like followed, but just seeing like how much they like held each other up and like lean on one another, and how it really is like a team sport. Like they couldn't do volleyball without each other, and like volleyball literally is like someone has to pass the ball to the setter for the setter to pass to the hitter for them to hit. So I think they're awesome.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things about volleyball too, is being able to make that connection and lean on the people you play with, because a lot of times you see during games where people struggle is usually when they're not communicating, not working together.
Right.
And so I think the way they can communicate and work together is really
important. Also, back to that point, I think what hurt Nebraska in this match was their setter, who's like a historic setter. Like, she's gonna go down for being like one of the best setters. Bergen, she had the flu, so she was sick, and like I obviously don't know her personally, but like from what I've seen and heard from like their coach and like Harper talking about it, was like it was bad. Like, she was like out, she like whatever, like to the point where they had to bring in a few backup setters to like learn everything before, just in case. So I think they were dealing with that, which is she's the major, like the setter has the floor, like they're running the plays, they're the big communicator. So to have your girl down, like who's supposed to be running ship, is really hard. And then Andy Jackson, who also insane middle, who's been starting and like insanely good this season, especially, got like taken out because she wasn't hitting to her best. So then when you add new pieces who like it's been the same for so long to the equation, it's hard to adjust, especially when you have a flow with a certain group of girls. Like I was saying, like that's how volleyball really is about communication and stuff. So it was just unfortunate timing, but hopefully that fuels them even more. Then I just feel like it's a continue fire, which to relate back to Paige Beckers and UConn, that was happened with them. Like, I'm also a UConn fan, but like they kept losing, and they were just so dominant, but they kept losing. And then Paige's 5th season, last season at UConn, they won, and it was like the most full circle, and like it just makes it so much more rewarding. And like
when you've like truly like gone through it and fought for it till the end.
And it just shows like the fight and like the determination, losing and losing and losing, fail, and then finally getting that win. So they deserve it.
So I'm definitely excited to see how this next season
we'll be watching. We love Nebraska volleyball.
Woo! Because I feel like, too, when you think of, just another side comment, I feel like when you think about Nebraska, at least most people, I feel like you think about Nebraska volleyball. Like, Nebraska is a volleyball school. So,
I agree.
something that's very important to them. So, but yes.
Yes. Yay.
So, our thoughts, some stats, some opinions on the game.
Yes.
And
shout out to Texas A&M because they did,
Yes.
they were insane. And to be how intimidating, too, to, go
Yeah.
and, massive underdog and go and just, not be scared. That's really...
Because I think that's, a trouble probably with a lot of teams, going in, knowing no way we're going to beat this team. And just how do you, handle that mentally as well?
Yeah.
Knowing that there's, I feel like you can either look on the bright side, hey, we can be a massive underdog, which I think is what Texas A&M did, or there's another side where it's hey, no way we're going to meet this team. Why are we even playing? So, but I think Texas A&M did a great job leaning towards that.
And they just went
Let's
into
go after
attack
it.
mode and really,
Yeah.
they didn't let the name of Nebraska get in the way of playing volleyball, which is probably why they were able to beat Nebraska.
So, see how the rest of the championship goes.
Yes. Games are tonight. Final four.
Oh, let me watch. So thank you guys.
Bye.
See you next time.